Synergetic Journal, video number 15, February 18, 2026. Renewing synergetic awareness of Buckminster Fuller's Earth, Inc. Christina Herlufsen's Synergetics Research Project. Is our mammalian species, humans of universe's eternal mind, more concerned with the formidable physical capital and massive corporations and political states than consciously avoiding political ties and tactics? Surely such conscionable avoidance can be coincidental to experimental explorations that excite individually realized awareness of our higher potentials. Primarily, we now have been synergetically apprised of comprehensive anticipatory design science reduction to physical practices. It can reform the environment while not trying to reform humans. Our conscious, coordinated thought and language accomplished ephemeralization in this regard, which is a wealth-augmenting prospect of doing more with less energy per performed task, is the most economical environmental condition within which humans can learn more about trial and error explored survival stratagems. By not doing so, the anticipatory design science prototypes capability instead inadvertently seems to have ushered in AI, artificial intelligence, also identified as alien intelligence. Now, our intelligence evolving species must manage what presently is emulating, usurping, supplanting the individual's unrecognized, not yet validated, inherently inviolable integrity, which is the formidable AI technology. AI technology interferes with consciousness evolution's potential awareness of TEUCP, the evolving universal communication process. AI technology, for the most part, seems to be promoted and funded by a handful of billionaires who operate for profit the various social media platforms that Buckminster Fuller had no 1970 awareness of it. Although the underlying thought-provoking message in his book Earth, Inc. alerts us in the 21st century to what we can consciously induce in order to realize full, lasting economic and physical success while employing Earth's energy events without necessity of AI or any human interfering with anyone else, which would be consummating, advantaging, disadvantaging at the expense of self and otherness. Missing from our repetitive observations of the reenacting articulations is the verifiable checklist of only universal and infinite principles known to our synergetically tuned-in anticipatory design science as generalization principles, the eternal generalized principles exemplified by Albert Einstein's famous equation E equals mc to the second power, E equals mc squared, energy equal mass times the speed of radiation times itself. Its unlabeled physical significance, nonetheless, was discovered by Einstein for apprehending its finite existence and comprehending its infinite significance that pays off correlatedly to increasing the universal absolute degrees of advantage for our humanity over circumscribed and incidentally purposely rearranging the local events when mindful of irrefutable measurable opportunities. R. Buckminster Fuller's Earth Inc. provides a type of report card to assess our 700 years within which approximately everyone is programmed to follow authoritatively ruled misguiding steps from AD 1250 to 1970, and since 1970 to 2026, with a majority of humans not making any mental connection to the closest packing spheres and theoretically tuned-in conceptualities of the atoms, which cosmic logically precedes any atomic element isolation of 9, then 92 chemical elements, from 92 uranium, 93 neptunium, to 2020 103 Lawrencium, then to 118 organess, shown in the periodic table of the elements. Is the novitiate research writer synergetically informed awareness to suppose, if 92 equiradius spheres around one describe the third layer after 42 equiradius spheres, after 12 equiradius spheres surrounding the nuclear sphere, cannot eventually assume element 118 among the equiradius spheres comprising a potential inventory of visible-invisible energy quanta patterning integrities that may someday provide a provable omnicomprehensive intertransforming synergy energy wealth that, in generalization principle by metaphysical conceptioning, its potentially intuitive fields of thought, most obviously from a synergetically informed psyches, consciously evolving personalities, philosophical perspectives, do not exclusively belong to exploiting harm advocates of the inherited PRJWB SHM, that's politics, religion, justice, war, belief, system, hierarchical matrix. The PRJM, BSHM, politics, religion, justice, military, belief, system, hierarchical matrix, and or the PRJ, money, BSHM. It's politics, religion, justice, money, belief system, hierarchical matrix. Cosmologically, once our individual consciousness evolution's metaphysical generalized conceptioning fields of thought are apprised of the correlating numbers from 1 to 118, there is every conscionable reason to acknowledge the prime structural systems as rudimentary learning models, extending from the first nuclear sphere, which is half in the physical, half in the metaphysical, applicably to potential 0-9 nucleus, since 8 new nuclei are potential from 92 equiradius spheres, albeit and admittedly the potential clarifications are superficial, not deeply mathematical nor measured and mensurated to the geometric geodesic degrees that Bucky Fuller may well have given some thought to, respecting the prospects of the human imagination's inherent ability to formulate conceptually, which is metaphysical and metaistical, independent of size. Time-space sizing. Commencing in 2026, we can obsolete misguiding delusions that have shown no evidence of omnicomprehensive anticipatory design science innovated human conditions, that by design eliminate the slave mentality conditioning which adamantly adheres to the dogma that is promoted by deliberately positioned influences, most of whom have no idea the destructive roles they are playing. Conscious mind eventually evaluates and associates those podcasting platforms with utter exhaustion as the individual tolerance that sees futility emerging, as amassing millions of viewers, some of whom provide monetary support for that particular viewpoint. It indirectly rewards the cultivated agreement to iterate and reiterate non-science-based truths, the self-evidence that requires conceptual models of the atomic structure as sets of events with which the universe is structured. The historical set of human events, EISEDP, experiences, intuition, speculations, experiments, discoveries, productions, and Synergetics 502.22, typically agrees with false premised parameters, omitting by slave mentality conditioning that expects to be believed despite absences of forethought of the inherent contradictions, thereby not eliminating the false premises as principal factors from any corresponding correlation to self-regenerating eternal generalized principles. Once cast in stone, the false premises latch onto fixed adaptations that are satisfied by the conceiver's promoted God. The conceiver's promised comfort, extending into the imaginary afterlife where the imagined deity judges behavior, further relegating the subject entity to imaginary scenarios of rewards and or punishments. The punitory incentives are assigned to political justice, religion's justice, where the M factor for money and military is entirely physical, that can initiate and reinitiate suffering beyond the newborn's expectation, much less furthering alienating potential awareness of TLBSWME, truth, love, beauty, symmetry, wisdom, maximum economy, that is inherently integral to humanity's uninterfered with, normally benign human nature. Gratefully, faithfully, eternally, from Christina, her love son, a.k.a. Christina Universe, a.k.a. Christina Universe Citizen.